Jamaal Bowman. He got the nerve. Jamaal Bowman got the baby. He got the nerve. Might make this before bed. I'm going to show y'all what Jamaal Bowman said. Y'all know he got a TikTok, right? Y'all know he got a TikTok. Let's go. Let's go to Jamaal's TikTok. Let's take a look-see at what he said. Because somebody tagged me in TikTok, and they were like, JB, you guys should talk about this. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. Okay. Because I'm just like, what? Y'all about to see? Hang on. What did he say? Okay. Okay. Let me share my screen real quick. I see what you said, Joseph. All right, let's listen to him. He says, Madam Speaker, and let's continue. Oh, Lord. And this is on his TikTok, by the way.
The rent is too damn high. The rent is too damn high. We have people across the country struggling to keep a roof over their heads. We are the wealthiest nation in the history of the world outside of ancient African civilizations. Yet we cannot provide housing for every single person in our country. We have CEOs making record profits. We have corporations making record profits. We have corporate landlords suppressing and oppressing and evicting tenants without just cause while continuing to raise the rent. We call on President Biden to take executive action on this issue. We do not have a healthy democracy or a healthy society unless we take care of our tenants and our working class people who are working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week just to survive.
Summons time's expired.
Thank you, and I yield back.
Okay. The hell? That wasn't supposed to happen. So they don't give me enough time. Anyway, we're going to break this down real quick. So we're going to break this down real quick. All right. So why do I say Jamaal Bowman got the nerve? Let's break it down. Let's go. All right. He says,
the rent is too damn high.
He said the rent is too damn high. Now, that was from a mayoral candidate a few years ago. Some of y'all from New York, y'all may know. Homeboy with the funky beard and the mutton chops. And he said the rent is too damn high. And they're right. He's right. That point is correct. So what is Jamaal doing about it besides this? Let's continue. All right, let's continue.
The rent is too damn high. We have people across the country struggling to keep a roof over their heads. Sherlock. We are the wealthiest nation in the history of the world outside of ancient African civilizations.
True.
Yet we cannot provide housing for every single person in our country.
Yeah.
We have CEOs making record profits. We have corporate,
which also contribute to your Democratic colleagues. which contribute to the leader of the Democratic caucus in the House and to your former Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. Keep going.
Corporations making record profits. We have corporate landlords suppressing and oppressing and evicting tenants without just cause while continuing to raise the rent.
This is when I say Jamaal Bowman got the nerve. Why do I say that? You ready? Y'all ready for this? Okay. All right. So there's a little site that I like to use from time to time. I know Sabby knows exactly what I'm talking about. Sabby, you know what's coming, Sabs. All right. It's called Open Secrets, right? And we're looking at Jamaal Bowman, right? Now, he just said that these landlords and real estate companies are making it more tougher for people by raising their rents and things like that. So let's look at who he gets this money from, right? Contributions from 2021, 2022 amount to $963,351, right? Now, a lot of people will say, well, it's from, he doesn't get money from super PACs. He doesn't get money from corporations, blah, blah, blah. And people will be like, oh, yeah, sure. That's fine. He's legit. A lot of people assume so. Now, let's go down the list. Well, number one is J Street. Well, isn't that interesting? Does Jamaal Bowman give any support to Palestinian people? Does he support BDS? Well, that's a whole nother story. But American Federation Teachers sounds legit. City of New York, University of New York, so you got it from a school. And this, in this, you have total individuals and PACs, right? Actually, let me make sure this is enlarged. Is this enlarged? No. You have total individual and PACs. We're going to be paying most of the attention to PACs, okay? So American Federation of Teachers, okay. City of New York, that was from individuals. City of New York, individuals, okay. University of Maryland, individuals. American Federation of School Administrators, some individuals, and also PACs, okay. Arison Networks, some individuals. Justice Democrats, who are problematic in themselves because they take corporate money. Mostly PACs. Congressional Black Caucus, he got money from them. AmeriPAC, the Fund for Greater America. University of California, he also got. Akandi Foundation, he also got money from that. Let me see, Morningside Translations. But what I want to focus on is number 18. The National Association of Realtors. And it wasn't through individuals, it was through a PAC. Now, as far as the National Association of Realtors, when you go here, let's go to National Association of Realtors. Because we're talking about rent properties, right? Well, why would the National Association of Realtors give Jamaal Bowman money? Do they just give money to people who are actually trying to, make housing more affordable? And for instance, things like rent controls, making sure that the rent isn't too damn high for many of us. Is that the point? Because guess what? We know that the Democrats are supposed to be for the people, So then the Republicans will be on the opposite side, right? Right? But look at that! Look! Look, what's it say? To candidates, congressional candidates, party of recipients. Oh, that's almost divided half and half, right? 50.25% of all the recipients for contributions from the National Association of Realtors goes to Democrats, while 49.74% go to Republicans. Well, what do you know? Interesting. They're literally giving money to both sides. Makes you interesting, right? 89.37% are incumbents. They gave $3,373,605. Let me make sure this a little bit larger so that everybody can see a little bit better. So y'all can see it in 4K. All right. Yeah. House recipients, Democrats, number of members, 210. Average contribution, 8,131. How much did Jamaal Bowman get? He got 7,000. Total contributions, $1,707,650. Republicans, 202 members. Average contribution, $7,877. Average total contributions, $1,591,311. All parties, $3.29 million. Senate, 19 Democratic members, 6,814. Republicans, 23 members, 6,304, the average contribution. So it's pretty equal. Does not make you question? Now, a lot of people will say, well, what's the point, JB? Right? So what? They're for, they're for doing all these good things for people, right? Like, for instance, let's go here. They just want to help people with housing. That's all. Like, for instance, here on Ocean City Today, says National Association of Realtors addresses Biden's plans for taking on housing crisis. And it says the National Association of Realtors issued a press release stating that the Biden administration recently announced new steps to tackle the housing supply crisis. Bullshit. The plan by the U.S. Department of Treasury allows the use of $350 billion in American Rescue Plan funds by state, local, and tribal governments towards the development, repair, and operation of affordable housing units. The following is a statement from the National Association of Realtors President Leslie Ruda Smith. The top issue around the country among our 1.5 million members is housing supply. NAR commends the White House for addressing this challenge head-on and working across agencies on a comprehensive plan to provide the necessary flexibility for state and local governments. Any effort to add supply will help alleviate historic shortage in affordable housing. NAR commissioned a landmark research report last year showing a lack of 5.5 million homes in the U.S., a gap so large it would take more than a decade to dig out of, even with accelerated new construction. It is nothing short of affordability crisis, hurting first-time, first-generation, and middle-income Americans most. NAR supports comprehensive action that includes investment in new construction, zoning reforms, expansion of financing, and tax incentives to spur investment in housing, convert unused commercial space to residential. So that's basically what they say, right? Let's go. Well, let's go to their site, the National Association of Realtors, right? Legislative advocacy. First one on the list is Chicago Association of Realtors, which is an affiliate of the National Association of Realtors, by the way. Commercial form, commercial structure. What? Blocking a high-rise fire sprinkling mandate. Ha! 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 Blocking a high-rise fire sprinkler mandate. Is it successful? Program was a success. The overreach of the state fire marshal was heavily rebuked by the public and media. Is it affordable? Costs were staff time only. Commercial forum worked closely with the Illinois Association of Realtors to coordinate grassroots in Chicago and the region. Is it sustainable? This issue brought together commercial members to achieve a common goal. The coalition that resulted is expected to remain intact as this issue resurfaces. Is it replicable in other associations? Yes. So they blocked a high-rise fire sprinkler mandate. I mean, I thought people's lives were the most important. Why block a mandate for fire sprinklers? Does this have to do with trying to cut costs so that you guys can build more? By the way, there are millions of empty homes in the United States, and there are people in the streets amounts a little over 500,000. So all we have to do is just put people in those houses. We really don't need to actually build more housing. The housing already actually exists. Yeah. It is not an issue of scarcity. Scarcity is actually a myth. We got a lot of empty houses. So when people talk about, oh, we need to build more affordable housing, actually, we don't. We just need to put people in the housing that already exists. But they don't want you to do that because they want to keep that for themselves to make more money off that housing. That's what it is. And they want to keep the poors in those areas. They don't want no intermingling. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Let's continue. Let's enlarge it. All right, folks. Oklahoma Association of Realtors commercial structure. What? Square footage bill. Passed a bill that prevents realtors from lawsuits over misrepresentation of square footage. Passed same bill for commercial properties. Passed a bill that prevents realtors from lawsuits over misrepresented of square footage. So they can't be sued if they lie. I'm sorry, but if you lie about the square footage, you should be punished for that. Somebody should get some recompense for you lying about square footage. Why block that? Is it successful? Yes, the bill passed. Is it affordable? Cost is staff time. Is it sustainable? The effort was the product of a collaborative legislative push and can be done again. Is it replicable in other associations? Yes. Sarasota, not too far from me, Association of Realtors. What? Say no on Amendment 4, a statewide effort to defeat amendment that required voter approval for every change in a comprehensive plan in the cities and counties. So people could actually have a say and approval for what changes in city planning. But they wanted a no on that. Program is a success. The initiative failed resoundingly 68-32. Is it affordable? Costs were considerable. Nearly $4 million spent by realtors as a part of a larger coalition. Is it sustainable? The issue brought together commercial members to achieve a common goal. The coalition that resulted is expected to remain intact as the issue resurfaces. Is it replicable in other associations? Yes. That's the National Association of Realtors. But Jamaal Bowman said that the rent is too damn high. Now, I got something else for you. Let's just go back to what he said. What did Jamaal say? What did he say?
We have CEOs making record profits. We have corporations making record profits. We have corporate landlords suppressing and oppressing and evicting tenants without just cause while continuing to raise the rent.
Okay, I want you to keep that in mind. And now I'm going to share my screen really quick. All right. Because he just said that while getting money from the National Association of Realtors, right? Let's go. Oh, our friends at More Perfect Union. So good to see them. What does this say? It says Realtors Lobby plows political cash into efforts to keep its rents higher. Wow. What do you know? Says the National Association of Realtors is fighting an array of attempts to provide relief to renters despite America's deepening housing crisis. That $7,000 seems a little tasty, huh? The rent is too damn high. Wages are too damn low. Wow, this came out in November of last year, just a couple months ago. All right, this is by Donald Shaw and David Moore. Thank you so very much. It says the pandemic and widespread job loss put the squeeze on renters, many of whom were already facing a burden of housing crisis. Almost half of renters in 2020 met the federal definition of cost burden, meaning they spent at least 30% of their income on housing, according to data from the U.S. Census Bureau. For nearly a quarter of renters, at least half of their income went to rent checks. I'm part of that quarter. Over half of my household actually goes towards rent. I say probably about 60% of my household income goes towards rent. So yeah. Shelter costs inflation began rising in early 2021 and has increased roughly 5% since then, putting major economic pressure on many Americans, along with rapidly inflating prices in food, gasoline, and consumer goods. Rent inflation remained rapid in the latest consumer price index data, increasing at more than double the typical year rate. And shelter costs have recently been pegged as the single largest factor driving core inflation up. Overall, in housing costs, it is a return to the record highs of the 1980s. There are many factors affecting housing prices: supply chain issues, remote workers fleeing cities during the pandemic lockdowns, and years of very low mortgage interest rates that help fuel a buying frenzy. Another factor making the housing more expensive and predatory for many is a massive real estate industry trade group that spends millions of dollars each year to lobbying governments in the U.S. While the National Association of Realtors and its state affiliates are most known for their advocacy for homeowners' tax advantages, it also sides with landlords and real estate investors on a myriad of policy debates that make housing more expensive and less stable for renters. Opposition to rent control laws. NAR is strongly against rent control laws, writing on its on its issue tracking website, the social responsibility of providing affordable housing should not be disproportionately borne by private property owners, and that rent control and rent stabilization put unreasonable costs and burdens upon property owners without compensation. And NAR says on this website that earlier this year it helped to draft and pass a law in Ohio, substitute House Bill 430, that includes a provision preempting local governments in Ohio from capping rents. By the way, the Ohio Association of Realtors, the NAR affiliate, has donated at least $430,000 to DeWine, according to Open Secrets. Oh, let me get this one. Here's where I live. In Orange County, Florida, where I live, the Florida Association of Realtors, an NAR affiliate, filed a motion for a temporary injunction over the summer along with the Florida Apartment Association to block a rent stabilization ordinance from appearing on the November ballot. In September, the group's motion was denied by a judge, and the measure is on the ballot, though the Realtors Association continued its legal fight, and last week, an appeals court judge ruled that the measure should not have been put on the ballot. The NAR and its Florida affiliates have formed a pact called the Realtors Issues Mobilization Committee that has begun sending mailers against the measure that feature images of handcuffs and warn that landlords who violate the ordinance could be jailed. Ooh. The group received more than $1.3 million from NAR in October and nearly as much from Florida Realtors since April of this year, according to records from the Florida Department of State. Where I live, says rents in Orlando, and I know this personally, of part of Orange County, increased by 27% from the second quarter of 2021 through the second quarter of 2022, the second highest increase in any city in the country over that period. This is why here on RBN, I had to have a fundraiser for me in order to be able to make my rent. This is why, and part of that blame goes to the National Association of Realtors, that decided that they didn't want the rent to go down. They want it to be too damn high. So people like myself who are disabled that literally have to fundraise in order to afford where I live, well, guess what? They decided to raise the rent. And guess what? I actually have to depend on the kindness of others in order to survive. So you see why this is a problem? And I haven't gotten deep into the article yet. I have not. There's more. There's more. And Jamaal Bowman has the nerve to say, the rent's too damn high. Well, maybe if you didn't take money from the people that are helping to make the rent high, then maybe we wouldn't be in this mess. Maybe, just maybe, you weren't in a party that was pro-capitalist, that was pro-property manager, or not property manager, that was pro-real estate investor, that was pro-landlord, then maybe, just maybe, you can actually fight against them. Maybe if you were like Shama Sawant, maybe, just maybe, you can actually fight against them in order to make it so that people's rent wouldn't be too damn high. Maybe, just maybe, you can call out every single politician within your party who receives money from the National Association of Realtors if you didn't get the money from them. And you can call them out and say, look, guess what? These are all the politicians that take it. You can call out all the Democrats and all the Republicans, and then you can be that bull in a china shop. You can actually do what the Justice Democrats thought that they were going to do. But you didn't. Because you took money from the National Association of Realtors. who are working to make it so that our rents don't go down, so that we don't have something affordable so that we can survive. Because you, in practice, don't really feel that housing is all right. Opposition to a federal renter bill of rights. At the end of May, the White House convened what called a housing provider listening session to discuss with industry stakeholders how a coordinated national policy could tackle the housing affordability crisis. During this campaign, President Biden called for a new homeowner and renter bill of rights modeled after a set of California laws that would expand renters' protections from abusive landlords and lenders. Other measures Biden proposed as a candidate would facilitate legal assistance for renters facing evictions, enhance accountability measures for financial institutions over discriminatory housing practices, and reverse the Trump administration's rollback of an Obama rule requiring communities that receive some federal housing funds to identify and address policies that have discriminatory practices. The day after the listening session, the National Association of Realtors, who gives money to Jamaal Bowman and other real estate and mortgage industry groups, were ready with a letter that they sent to President Biden and the administration officials opposing the idea of a federal renters' bill of rights. The letter argues that such measures at the federal level would, quote, create unnecessary duplication of renter protections that are already required by and disclosed in landlord-tenant eviction and fair housing laws, end quote. Instead, to address affordability challenges, they suggested increasing the supply of affordable housing units and incentivizing voluntary participation in federal housing programs. They're basically saying individual responsibility instead of community responsibility. That's basically what it is. It's individualism. Opposing C-19 eviction moratoriums. Support replacing 30-day eviction rule. This is very heinous. The National Association of Renters, who gave $7,000 to Jamaal Bowman, I'm going to keep saying that, is supporting a bill that would introduce in the House of Representatives by September by Georgia Republican Barry Loudermilk and other House Republicans that would overturn the CARES Act provision that requires all landlords nationally to provide a 30-day notice before they begin eviction proceedings. The 30-day federal notice requirement is longer than what is required by many states, which Loudermilk says on his website is just 8 days on average. The bill's backers say that the 30-day national requirement was supposed to be temporary, but then was made permanent in the CARES Act due to a drafting error. This technical error in the language of the CARES Act takes away the power of states, localities, and the judicial system to control eviction policies and procedures, and adds confusing ambiguity to the process. The NAR, the National Association of Realtors, wrote in a letter thanking Loudermilk and other Republican co-sponsors for proposing the bill. The real estate industry has been one of Loudermilk's top donors over the course of his career, providing him with more than $250,000 in campaign funding, according to Open Secrets. Of that sum, National Association Realtors PAC accounts for $43,000, which whom they also gave $7,000 to Jamaal Bowman, who says the rent is too damn high. Support for suspending the FHA's anti-flipping rule. Pushing back against desperate impact rules. A lobbying giant, legislation touching on the realtors group issues face a gauntlet of lobbyists on Capitol Hill. For the past several years, the National Association of Realtors has been one of the top highest spending groups on federal lobbying, who gave $7,000 to Jamaal Bowman, who says the rent is too damn high. In the first 3 quarters of 2022, the National Association of Realtors spent $56.2 million on lobbying, according to the records from the Senate. It was the second highest spending lobbying group over that period behind the behemoth U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Through the first 3 quarters of the year, the National Association of Realtors federal lobbying has surpassed the $44 million spent in 2021. The top recipients of funds donated through the votes the same in the 2022 cycle. National Republican Congressional Committee is $277,500. They gave Tim Scott $263,000, $209. Marco Rubio got $199,786. Senator John Thune got $177,500. And the National Republican Senatorial Committee got $170,500. Joe Manchin got $160,000, $160,765. Representative Van Taylor got $153,575. Catherine Cortez Masto got $443,000. Peter Stahlberg got $133,025. Jerry Moran got $133,000, who sits on the Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee. The rent is too damn high. You're goddamn right, but it's no thanks to you. The rent's too damn high. You complain about the problem that you're helping contribute to. Man, Mao was right.